G'day YouTube, it's me John Green in the garden. You wouldn't believe it, but this building is 300 years old. What you can see of it, it's a granary. It's also where people would have lived. There's a fireplace downstairs, which means that was probably the kitchen at one point, but now it's just a whole bunch of junk. And it's the back of the backyard of our place here in This is all our land, so the things I'm going to excavate right now are literally just the rubbish that's been dumped in this backyard over the last maybe up to 300 years if you dig down far enough. I'm not sure about any archaeological significance, but I thought it was funny now because I was digging a hole to make a fence, and I pulled up a half full bottle of lemonade that still had lemonade in it, which pretty surprised me considering no one's been out here for a very, very long time. We cut all this grass and made a big compost heap out of all the shrubbery. I'll let you see what this looks like. Very lovely little town. That's our view from the garden. I'll set this up and maybe we'll find something interesting while we're renovating, or it's not really renovating, is it? We're just putting up a fence. The fence is 100% necessary because the dog's been running in and out of everyone else's backyards, and that's just unacceptable by any standard, really. So I just set up the camera, dig a few holes, see if anything. Alright, so maybe it's a couple of them, and I've been thinking I'm seeing the same bird all the time, but it's probably just a flock of these little fellas. They love to come every time I'm digging, and I do enjoy their company. I throw them a worm or two if I find one, but generally there's a lot of slaters and other little bugs they can munch on. Plenty of seeds. I've marked off the fence posts at 2 meters 50 at each post, so my 5 meter 2x4s can make the rest of the distance with the shortest amount of wood being used. This is 250. Yeah. Plenty of rocks, and some of them you have to pull out by hand because they're so big. And at this point I think I've hit a hedge, which I didn't want to do. A big rock. Oh, no, yeah. I did find a bone earlier. See, found this bone while I was digging. I thought, I wonder if that could be like a bone from here, or maybe the tibula or something like that. But then again, I look at the end of the bone and it looks like a pretty straight cut, by a meat cleaver, or maybe even a bone saw. It looks like it's been sawed through. So this is more likely a shank of someone's dinner, probably a lamb shank, something like that. Still, I try to hold on to the bones just in case I find something interesting. And who knows, maybe it turns out to be something else. So finding bones is always fun in your own backyard. Lots of weird pieces of rubbish and tile. This looks like a magnet. I wonder if that's what it is. Nah, it's a bit of tile. I think these hedges have just been used as a garbage dump for anything solid. There's a huge stone in the bottom of that. Luckily I can dig off to the side, still put down my posts. But it looks like a proper stone, like a piece of granite cut square. Could be the original dividing line of the property. That probably just moved over the years, because different people worked on their gardens and other people didn't. You see this guy's garden's much well organised, much better organised. This side was a train wreck. So maybe this was the original line, I don't know. My job is to make it as straight and legal as possible. So he gets all of his yard, and I get to seal up my yard and the dogs don't get in trouble. Alright, that's 2 holes. Garbage bags. That's always a bad sign. There's a hedge in the way. I'll skip that. There's a hedge, or at least the remainders of it. I'm going to cut that out, possibly even with an axe. Not right now, but I'm going to dig a few more holes and see what else we might find here. Now, found something. Now the guy who used to own this house was known as a bit of a handyman, and also was the first mechanic in our town. So we might find one of his relics. What the hell is that? I hear you ask. Well, let's have a look. Nearly broke my shovel. Okay. Ooh, good work. This giant thing here is a tank of some kind. When I tried to pick it up, I noticed there's this gauge or something, which makes me think this is a fuel pump. This portion of it, and then this is the actual. I was just wondering if there's any liquid in it still. This is an old fuel tank of some kind, probably from a very, very old car. If anyone can identify anything on here, that would be great. But I understand it's in very bad condition. Some writing on it. Tartarini. Bologna. Huh. Let's have a look. Alright, so this is what I found in my backyard while I was setting up the hedge. I'm not even done with that, but let's have a close look. What's it say? I don't know if you can read that really, but with my eyes it says Tartarini Bologna, which I imagine is where it is made. So I guess it's Italian. Right. This is an old fuel pump, I imagine. There's some piece of glass or something there. Don't know if that's any kind of gauge or something that used to be there. It's hard to predict. I don't know much about engines. It's very well rusted. I don't believe there's anything in it. Or if there was, it's probably evaporated by now. I don't know what to do with this giant piece of steel. To tell you the truth, you could probably cut it open and make it into a barbecue or something. Or cut the top off and make it into a fire pit. Or you cut it lengthways across here and cut the top off, make that into some sort of burning or barbecue area thing. I don't know. It still seems to be quite solid. It's rusted, but it looks like a lot of surface rust. I'm sure you could cut it open and still use it. But to tell you the truth, I wouldn't feel too confident cutting it open, just in case there was a little bit of, it says N3.15 or something. Yeah, maybe there is something in there that could explode, or maybe this is open. Maybe that's an open valve we're looking at. Yeah, probably. Nothing dangerous in there then. Still, I'm not going to leave it in the hedge. Here's some other assorted crap. Paint tins. Styrofoam. Old metal buckets and plastic buckets. I don't know what that is, a shirt sleeve or something. While I've been digging up this garden, I've been finding some pretty dumb stuff. I did find a long ladder that I could repurpose, made out of steel. Otherwise, it's a lot of just household junk. As far as I can tell, there's a cup. It's a ceramic cup, still has a handle. It's got like Prince Charming or something, talking to his princess. That's interesting. It's still intact. Where's this from? Made in England. Of course it was. Everything was made in England, basically, or was made in Dublin. Everything I've found so far. I'm going to keep digging here. I don't think we're going to find anything as huge as this. That's kind of ridiculous. Didn't even know it was there. But it's good now. I can clear a path you can see how I'm making progress with my post holes. Got to put 2 more in, 1 more there, 1 more on the end, and then I'm done for today. So that's been pretty eventful. I don't know if this thing's worth anything. You tell me. Yes, maybe you can read that better now. I might dust that off, save it. It's got a nice little handle on there. There might be some more kitchen junk. I think I can see the bottom of a vacuum cleaner, like an old 60s one or something. Maybe there's some other machine parts. Still, I've got to keep doing my job for today. But thanks for tuning in. This has been John Green, and it's been an archaeological treasure trove right here in Ballymote. Like I said, our granary is 300 years old, and I have to put some fence posts in. I don't know if people are going to comment upon that, like you're not allowed to put fence posts in, but that's what's happening. And thanks for tuning in to Irish Ore. This is your first stop shop for sort of urban explorations, archaeological non-discoveries, and maybe a bit of gold detecting on the beach from time to time. Stay tuned. Irish Ore.